Albertine is going to try it after break earlier in practice.
You can see the intensity on LaRocco's father's face. That's his mechanic standing right there behind him. A lot of competition in this heat race, and Damon Huffman coming off that excellent battle with McGrath. We'll see if that did anything to his confidence.
Just last week, what a great duel that was, and Michael Craig is well known for challenging Jeremy McGrath right here in San Diego.
Oh, there's no doubt about it. I think Craig is going to be fast here tonight, but he's got to get off the line good because everyone's going about the same pace out there.
Okay. The gate is dropped, and it's Michael Craig, number 17, on the inside. Breaking through is number 13, Phil Lawrence, as they go into the next section with Michael Craig in second place.
Well, it sure looked like Craig had the start, but that was wise by Lawrence.
A nice break from the gate by Mike LaRocco, which is a pleasant surprise for the Suzuki crew.
Oh, he's been complaining about not getting off the line, able to run with the leaders. They're right there. He's in contact with them, and that was good by Craig to get Lawrence right back like that. You can see Craig just out of your screen there, as did LaRocco. They jumped all four of those. That's the first quadruple jump I've seen in a long time.
Now the first test of that long whoop section, the longest of this season, and maybe in the history of Supercross. Michael Craig, number 17, Honda of Troy. Number 13, the top privateer, is out there in Phil Lawrence. Lawrence starting the season with two outstanding races, wants to get back into contention right now.
They can see, just as they came over the finish line jump, right behind LaRocco was Damon Huffman, so he's on the move, but Phil Lawrence, who's been a little quiet since that first race, this is a good run for him. He needs to stay in contact with Craig, maybe learn a little bit. He can bring that into the main event, hopefully get another good start. Going through the triple option section, we say that because there are about 3 different ways you can go through that, is Michael Craig in first place. And a battle, a 3-way battle now. You see the green bike, number 10, that's Huffman. Mike LaRocco right in front of him. And Mike Brown, number 9 of Honda of Troy. Seems
Here
like they're
comes
all
LaRocco. The big race for second and third is on.
Seems like they're all favoring the middle down that whoop section.
Michael Craig over the finish line jump first with Phil Lawrence second. Mike Brown third. Huffman having trouble on the corner before the straightaway. Is in a battle with number 8, Mike LaRocco. And Jimmy Button 100 right behind him.
They finally made that pass. He made a mistake coming out of the corner after the finish line jump. That's a tricky corner. I talked about him being wide. Some of the guys go in tight, and he lost his rhythm through there, lost a lot of time. But I think he's got the pace to close back up.
There's the battle behind the leaders. Mike LaRocco, number 8, Huffman, number 10, and Jimmy Button behind him.
Button staying in pretty close contact with these guys. I'm impressed with the way he's riding so far.
Jimmy Button, number 100 from Team Extreme on a Yamaha. His best finish at 8th in Anaheim.
You see the riders getting to that long whoop section. It's almost impossible to try to memorize a fast way through there, so each lap is very different. You see him having a tough time getting stopped at the corner after that. It looked like a bobble by Mike Brown just after that finish line, getting sideways in that corner. That's the same thing that happened to Huffman the lap before. Working their way into that step-up section, into that triple option. A lot of different ways to go through there. You see Brown and LaRocco with different ideas.
They're battling for third right now. Brown, number 9. LaRocco, number 8. LaRocco with an outstanding start here in the heat race. And Huffman trying to get up with LaRocco.
You see Huffman right there. Yeah, he did the quadruple jump, and I think that's smart. If those guys take the inside, go wide, you can jump all four. Now, Huffman to the right of your screen.
Here comes Huffman. He's on the inside of Mike LaRocco, who gets the shoot. Oh, bar to bars. They go over the triple. LaRocco the inside track, but Huffman cuts underneath. And it's LaRocco over the finish line jump first. Can he hold on to it? What a battle here in the very first qualifying heat. Back and forth. Number 8, Mike LaRocco. Number 10, Damon Huffman.
I like the way they've made these corners wider. You see a lot of passing going through there, but all this battling amongst themselves, they're kind of slowing each other down, and Mike Craig is long gone.
Michael Craig out in front here in the qualifying heat. He runs well on his hard pack. This can be considered his home track. And Phil Lawrence is in second. Mike Brown in fourth. Mike LaRocco in fifth. We'll be back. With the finish of this Jack Murphy Stadium, the 250 Supercross qualifying is underway in heat number 1. Michael Craig way out in front, but the real battle is between number 9, number 8, and number 10. That is Mike Brown, Mike LaRocco, and Damon Huffman. Now remember, the first 4 bikes in this qualifying heat go directly to the main. So this is the key area we're watching now.
Right, and Damon Huffman, if he can't get around LaRocco, he's done it before. If he can't get around one of those guys, he's going to the semi.
Oh, they're both getting by Mike Brown out of the whoop section. Mike LaRocco stays in front of Huffman. Huffman right on his tail, and Mike Brown is now in 5th.
You can see how slick it is in those corners, Art. It's down past that topsoil. Oh, Brown clips the back tire and high sides. I don't think he's happy with what happened there. He made a little hand gesture. A lot of blocking out there.
Mike Brown going to the semifinal round, that's for sure.
They've forced the riders to get a little physical with each other tonight by leaving those corners wide open, and it just compounds all that with it being so slick.
Well, David, you predicted it before the race, just talking with me. You said, hey, we're going to have a lot of block passing, and look out because it will get slick on the hard pack, and that's what we're going to see. We're going to see some contact.
Now you're looking back at your leader, Michael Craig, and what's impressed me about Craig and Lawrence, as you can see back there in second, they put a lot of time on LaRocco and Huffman. I know Huffman's going fast. Maybe he just wasn't able to ride his own lines and ride up to his potential in traffic the way they were blocking.
White flag lap, final lap now in our first qualifying heat with Craig, Lawrence, LaRocco, and Huffman looking like they're headed to the main event. Jimmy Button is a distant 5th right now. We still have a battle in the very competitive nature of Damon Huffman against Mike LaRocco.
He seems to have a few tricks up his sleeve. He's got a lot of different lines out there. You can see the difference in this triple option of what Huffman's doing, and I would look for him to make his pass to that long whoop section on this last lap.
Keep our eyes on this battle right here for 3rd.
He's got to get a little closer if he's going to have a shot at it, but still, you never know. Huffman is so fast with those whoops.
Here's our leader, number 17, Michael Craig of Honda of Troy, coming through the whoops. And look at the battle. Mike LaRocco hanging on as Michael Craig comes over the triple, going to the finish line jump now, will win the first qualifying heat. It's Phil Lawrence 2nd, Mike LaRocco 3rd, and Damon Huffman 4th. They will be going to the main event, the rest to the semifinals. We'll be back with more action from San Diego's Jack Murphy Stadium after this.
But I think Mike Craig really demonstrated how crucial that start's going to be. Lawrence slipped by him there in the first corner, but Craig was smart to try to get back past him as soon as possible, learning perhaps from Jeremy. That's what he always does, and it was unchallenged from there.
Jeremy McGrath, of course, looking to tie his and Ricky Johnson's record for 5 consecutive wins to start the season. And Ryan Hughes, he's looked fast in practice. We're looking right there at Larry Ward. What a race he had last week in Seattle, leading the first 10 laps before his old home state fans.
Well, I think that was a fantastic performance. Although he had slipped back to 8 in the remaining laps, I think he wasn't able to really prepare for that. Anybody that's had a cast on their hand can relate to that. And so he's had all week now to prepare. And I think he'll be a lot stronger. And Jeff Emig, who you're getting a look at right here, I think he puts a lot of emphasis on San Diego. He's done well here before. And he's got to get something started, Art, in this season.
Number 4, Steve Lampson, the teammate of Jeremy McGrath. He comes off 2 third-place finishes.
Number 6, Denny Stevenson.
I was impressed in practice with Ryan Hughes.
He sure looked good. And, you know, over before the first triple, he had a trick line where he'd come out of the corner and jump over the plateau and the next jump.
Okay, the 30-second board is up, and when it goes sideways, they have from 5 to 10 seconds to anticipate that gate dropping. Of course, the riders don't know exactly when it's going to drop. Some try to anticipate it like Lampson did a few weeks ago.
Well, Lampson was lucky.
Okay, we're almost set to go, so it's get tense time. And winning a good gate position, winning the first heat that you participate in, is immensely important to Jeremy McGrath.
Well, it's great for your confidence. It'd be great for anyone else's confidence, especially Ryan Hughes, if he could beat Jeremy in this heat race.
Jeremy's off to another good start. Also, Jeff Emig is there. Emig to the outside, number 2. Emig in front of Jeremy McGrath.
Well, this is what he said he wanted to do. He wanted to get up and run with him. Let's see if he can hold Jeremy off.
It's Denny Stevenson and Ryan Hughes in 3 and 4 positions. We take a look out in front. Jeremy McGrath, the block pass here in the qualifying heat on Jeff Emig. Well, they used to be friends.
Boy, he sure ruins everyone's confidence. but I mean, I don't think Emig thought he left him very much room. Jeremy went in there and just about ran over his foot. That's going to perhaps irritate Emig. He might get a little bummed out about that and perhaps more aggressive. That might be just what he needed.
The three bikes equal, and here comes Emig right back at Jeremy McGrath, bringing the fans alive here in San Diego. So it's Emig, McGrath, and Hughes, 1, 2, and 3 as they go over the finish line jump.
That confirms my opinion. I know Emig didn't like it at all. You can see through the whoop section, he was just aiming to the inside, right for Jeremy's foot peg.
It's Larry Ward in the 5th spot as McGrath has trouble on the corner.
Ryan Hughes right there checking out everything that Jeremy's doing. They see they got a little bit different idea of how to get through that option section fast. Now they're coming into the section where Ryan Hughes was fast in practice. He would jump this all the way over that and on. It lands right there before the triple. Only guy I saw doing it. He might be able to use that later on.
That's a good thing to save for later on.
Well, you might want to save it for the main event. But
this is the battle for second place in our second qualifying heat. Number 2 is out in front, Jeff Emig. But it's Jeremy McGrath getting the challenge in the whoops by Ryan Hughes, number 5. He cuts to the inside. McGrath has got all he can handle as he looks back at Ryan Hughes. Ryan Hughes stalling the bike in the corner. Larry Ward passes him, but he breaks it and gets in front of Bradshaw just in time in 4th position.
That was pretty a slick move by McGrath. He thought that Ryan was going to try to sneak underneath him. He held on the brakes just long enough, forced Ryan into a mistake.
Emig making a mistake. We're going to have a tremendous finish to this number 2 qualifying heat, that's for sure. As Emig is out in front, McGrath in 2nd place, and right now Larry Ward is in 3rd, Bradshaw in 4th, but he's got a battle on his hands right there with number 5, Ryan Hughes. Their top 4 riders only going to the main event. Qualifying from San Diego, round 5 of the season. 4 more riders looking for top gate positions. Out in front,
Ryan Hughes, you can see right here, working his way to the inside of Larry Ward. It looks like he's going to be able to make that block pass. He's making time on the leaders. He's
Hughes
catching.
breaking out in front now as we have Emig in 1st place, Jeremy McGrath a distant 2nd, and a distant 3rd now is number 5, Ryan Hughes. A battle. Look at Bradshaw sneaking into the action against Larry Ward, number 6. Bradshaw on the left side of your screen, zipping through the whoops.
Well, he was the man who wasn't going to make it out of the heat. He was sitting in 5th, and now he's in a qualifying position. And Lamson goes around the inside of Larry Ward, too. So Larry Ward dropping 3 spots in that one turn.
Larry Ward still having problems with that recovering broken thumb. It is still very, very sore. Lamson battling it out now, along with Mikel Pichon, number 12. Mikel Pichon, the 125 East rider, who has done so well on the West Coast on the 250s.
And that's the battle for 5th. Ryan Hughes and Bradshaw starting to pull away from those guys. See Bradshaw just out of your screen, and now McGrath is starting to put pressure back on Jeff Emig, and we'll see if he can give Emig a little taste of his own medicine at the end of the section. McGrath on the inside.
McGrath in 2nd, but he's right on the back bumper at times of Jeff Emig. Out of the triple going to the finish line jump. We've still got lots more action to go here in the 2nd qualifying heat. Oh, we've had some great racing already from San Diego in front of an outstanding crowd.
Emig's got to be smart right here, Art. He's got to use the inside lines. You saw right there, he jumped into that step-up section. That's something that I haven't seen anyone else do. Jeremy saw it, and you can bet Jeremy's going to pick up on it, but Emig cannot leave the door open, or McGrath will ride right through it.
Out of turn 4 into the first triple. There's only 3 bike lengths between the 2 now as they head into the quad jump. Jeremy goes for the 4. Emig only went for 3. Let's check out the whoop section now. About 3 laps remaining in this qualifying round as Emig holding his own on the inside track.
Oh, I like that. He's got to hold the inside line. He knew Jeremy was making time there the lap before, so he moved right over.
We're looking for a battle for that final qualifying position as well.
See all those shiny skid marks on the ground coming out of the corners. It's like ice. These guys are really having to work the bike. The guys that do well in the hard pack, I think, would have to be Jeff Emig, also Mike Craig. Both these guys like it. It's showing tonight.
Out of the step-up section into the triple option. It's all how they plan it. They've got lots of room on this track so far. Emig and Jeremy McGrath. And way back at 3rd is Rhino. Hughes, Bradshaw, and Pichon will have a battle for that final qualifying spot. Here comes Jeremy. Look out. Emig once again trying for that inside line. Jeremy McGrath, doesn't matter. He takes the outside line.
I think he's going to try to square off Emig right here.
Emig jumped in front of Jeremy. He looks back at Jeremy. Not a good sign.
No, he knows he's there, and he doesn't really need to look over. I know he knows who it is.
White flag. Final lap of our second qualifying heat. Hughes, Bradshaw still battling out third and fourth as Pichon backs off in fifth.
Brian Hughes and Damon Bradshaw here slipped a little bit further back in third. I think what's happening with this racetrack is if you've got anybody close to you, you've got to ride really defensive, and that's what's happened to Hughes here, trying to hold off Bradshaw, and they've lost a lot of time on the leaders.
Well, Jeff Emig has looked for a long time for an impressive appearance in this Supercross season. As they come into the quad jump area, once again, Jeremy McGrath going for the 4, Emig only 3, and the whoops. This time Emig is on the outside. Let's see if he can keep the gap. Yes, he has. He's keeping the speed. Here comes Jeremy in second. The final triple takes him off the pegs. Jeff Emig puts his fist in the air. He has won his first qualifying heat of the season, and it's the first qualifying heat loss for Jeremy McGrath on the season. We'll be back with our winner right now. He'll be advancing to the main event with a top gate position. Davey Combs.
Down here with Jeff Emig. Congratulations. You are the first person of 1996 to defeat Jeremy McGrath.
Well, yeah, that was only a heat race, and we still got a main event to go. But I felt really strong, and he put the major, like the major, hit on me there in the first lap, and when I got a good drive through the whoops, I said, here it comes, it's coming right back to you. And to be honest with you, I wanted him, to go over the bales, but he didn't quite get there, but I feel great, though.
A lot of people have been waiting for a ride like that out of Jeff Emig this year. What'd you do different this week?
Well, I got the whole shot. The Kawasaki's the thing is, it's just working awesome. It's working better, better than what I could ever imagine. And, and it's getting me to the first turn first. And I think that's what it's going to take.
All right, congratulations again, Jeff. If he gets away with Jeremy, we'll see what happens next time, Art.
David, you just heard what he said. First semifinal round, the riders of the gate. This is the second stage of qualifying for tonight's 250 main. The top 5 riders from each semifinal making it to the main event. We've got Jimmy Button, Jeff Matasevich, Brian Swink, Ezra Lusk, Mike Brown, some good riders. Bader Manet, an interesting name there. Good starter.
Oh, he gets off to fantastic starts, and he's fast enough to lead for a little while. Also, Mickey Diamond making a comeback here in San Diego. He looked good in his preliminary qualifier, winning that.
Absent from the gate is Greg Albertine. Broken foot in practice. Tried it in the heats, but just couldn't participate in this semifinal round. Ezra Lusk, number 34 on the yellow bike, the Suzuki, and Brown, number 9, right behind him. 103 is Jeff Matasevich on the Kawasaki. Jeff DeMint, number 33, with the red bike, the Honda.
Ezra Lusk, as he starts into that corner, you notice him going way to the inside. He's been watching the other races. You can see right there, Matasevich doing what McGrath did to Emig in that first lap, and it worked for him. Everyone's just cutting under everyone tonight, really pushing him out, not giving him any room.
Ezra Lusk just coming off his finest 250 performance. He had all kinds of bad luck with injuries last year. Just a miserable year. But his 4th place in Seattle must have given him confidence now as he leads semifinal number 1.
Oh, this kid has always impressed me with his speed, but he ended up on the ground so much. Seemed like he couldn't even get on the bike and go out there without crashing last year. And there's no doubt he's got the speed. It's just a matter of can he keep it on 2 wheels, especially here because it's so slick.
Had trouble a little bit with that straightaway before the corner. The corner before the straightaway, I should say. But still in front of Brown.
Matasevich putting pressure on Brown right through there, and these guys are all staying pretty close, and as long as they're close, they're going to have to ride real defensive, and I don't think anyone really can get away.
Right now, it doesn't look like a real battle for the top 5 positions. As we look at Ezra Lusk on top of Mike Brown, Jeff Matasevich behind him, Jimmy Button in the 4th position, and Jeff DeMint in number 5.
I think it's just going to keep getting slicker and slicker through the night. Look at these guys. They're all learning their lesson, running down the inside of that whoop section. They know if they got somebody back there, they've got to protect it. That's going to be the story tonight.
Ezra Lusk had a good practice session, but of course is thrilled to death that he was able to stay on 2 wheels last week.
It's a lot sandier here in the past, Art. This year, I don't know where they got this dirt from, or if they came out here and threw some cement in there with it or what, but it's the slickest surface I've ever seen in a Supercross.
Ezra Lusk giving Mike Brown a chance, but Brown doesn't seem to be able to take advantage of it.
Well, I think what you're seeing is that everyone can pretty much go the same speed, so Brown's just got to stay right there, keep the pressure on, and hope for Lusk to make a mistake. Lusk has done that a lot in the past, but after last weekend, like you said, with good performance there, maybe he's got a little more confidence.
We go into the quad jump, but none of the riders here in the semifinal number 1 going for 4. In fact, some of them went for a double. 34, Ezra Lusk on the inside, leading our qualifying heat in the semifinal round number 1. Mike Brown behind him, and it is still Jeff Matasevich. Matasevich spending the season in Japan last year. He won the Japanese National Series. It starts in April, so this is a good warm-up for him. You see Jeff Nutter, Mike Brown's mechanic, down at trackside, as Brown now is really close to Ezra Lusk, starting to put some break. Semifinal number 1 underway, as 5 more hopefuls will make it out of this round to the main event. Right now, the battle is for the lead. Ezra Lusk, number 34, and Mike Brown, number 9. Brown cutting in front, but Lusk had the momentum with the wide berm. Lusk still goes wide as they go into the straightaway before turn number 1.
Well, the track builders are doing a great job of building the tracks, but what's happening this year is that there's so many obstacles that are, in my opinion, very technical. It relies mostly on timing. So the only thing you have left is to try to get aggressive through the corners, and they've left those wide open. And because of that slick surface, I think especially in the main event, when you got everybody in there, somebody's going to get knocked down.
David, don't you think in order for Mike Brown to get by Lusk right now, after seeing so much of this action, is he almost has to put him down if he gets close enough?
Well, you saw him go in there and try to do it the polite way, and if this was the main event and he needed to win, I don't think he feels like he needs to win this race. He's already in the main. He doesn't want to irritate anybody, but yeah, he would have to go in there and put him down to make the pass.
Matasevich is making a true move now for second place. Number 103, starting to back up, is Mike Brown in the white flag lap. That means the final lap. Ezra Lusk now with a nice lead as they go into the final lap against Mike Brown, Jeff Matasevich, and Jimmy Button.
Well, since Matasevich doesn't ride this whole series, he'll be off to Japan again. I think he would look for him to get a little bit more aggressive than Brown. Brown knows he's got to ride the whole season. He's happy he's in the main unless he makes a big mistake here, but Matasevich has nothing to lose. I wouldn't be surprised if he went in there and put a lot of pressure on Mike Brown.
Mike Brown, number 9, Honda of Troy machine. Their crew feeling that they're going to win a race this year.
Well, they've certainly got the suspension dialed in on those bikes. The guys are all going fast, building confidence. This is Brown's first year in the 250s, and
Jimmy Button on the move in 4th, but here comes Ezra Lusk as the checkers are out. The checkers will wave for the young guy from Bainbridge, Georgia. Mike Brown in 2nd, Matasevich 3rd, Jimmy Button 4th, and Jeff DeBent, Honda of Houston, made the final transfer spot to the main event out of the series starting to rip.
I think that really shows you, Art, how deep the talent is this year, because Larry Ward in years past, had he led that long, probably would have been able to hang on to a podium or at least a 4th, but he dropped all the way to 8th place. Now, I didn't see him slow down that much. I just saw everyone, so much competition, just steamroll by him.
He told me he tried to pace himself because of the lack of, conditioning, I guess, because just coming right back into it. And he said, I was wrong. I should have gone full out 5 more laps as hard as I could go, and then I might have made a podium. Let's see what he can do here now in the 2nd semifinal. Laps on number 4. Number 6, Larry Ward. And it's Collars. Number 112, breaking into 2nd place, Tom Clowers Jr. from Santee, California. It's Lamson out in front with Larry Ward in 2nd place. Remember, the top 5 will go to the main event.
Well, I believe these are the 2 fastest riders in this heat race. Also, Pichon, who's starting to move up from behind right now, but the 2 fastest guys off to the best start.
Kyle Lewis starting to give Larry Ward some problems as they go into the whoops right now. Lewis is number 11.
And Larry Ward made a little mistake as he jumped in there. He jumped in kind of high.
A box out. Lewis takes over 2nd place. Ward in 3rd. And here comes Pichon moving into 4th before the finish line jump.
Larry Ward tried to go in there and get it back from Lewis. A big pileup just behind these guys before the finish line jump.
And unfortunately, it involves the Team Innovation, the Great Western team of Stevenson and Buddy Anthonez, both going down. And look at the action out front now. Here comes Pichon, number 12.
Pichon really caught these guys quick. Now Lewis getting back around Larry Ward. Lamson's gone. And these guys are going to get forced into riding that defensive battle I've been talking about all night so far of having to protect your inside line. You saw Lewis look over at Larry Ward. You want to make sure he knew who that was and what he could expect going into that corner.
Former teammates last year with Sizzler Nolene.
Watch how slick number 12, Pichon, is right there. This guy gets around people. He's pretty sneaky like Jean-Michel Bayle used to be, and we'll see if he can get around both these guys.
He really appreciates a technical track.
Well, I don't think he's getting that here tonight.
Here goes Pichon, and Pichon with a nice block pass on Larry Ward as they head into the straightaway now.
Larry Ward tried to go back to the inside, but he couldn't hold it, and Pichon back around the inside. Pichon covered that move pretty good, and yeah, like you said, I think Pichon likes a technical track. This track is technical to some extent, but I think the thing that makes it the hardest is it's slick.
Okay, with the big lead is Steve Lamson of Fort San Diego. As Steve Lamson, the teammate of Jeremy McGrath on the Team Honda machine number 4, is a big leader now in the semifinal. Kyle Lewis in second place, and Mikel Pichon is starting to put some pressure on Lewis as they go into the step-up section before the triple option.
Well, as we saw in the heat races, guys were jumping way up into that step-up section and all the way off over the next jump. These guys aren't doing it. That's probably why they're in the semi. But Pichon's got some different lines, and I would look for him to come down the inside of that whoop section and put a move on Lewis. But perhaps Lewis knows that. He may cover it.
So it's Lamson, Lewis with a battle on his hands with Mikel Pichon, Larry Ward in 4th, and we still have Tom Clowers in 5th. What an impressive move that would be should he make it out of the semifinal round into the main event. And here comes the battle once again. Lewis is number 11. Number 12 is Mikel Pichon. He's got the angle and the block. Pichon moving into second.
Well, he planned that a couple turns behind. You got to set yourself up. The riders are really going to have to think tonight. Usually there's a lot of loam here. And they get little inside berms as well as the outside berm, but tonight they got to putt around the inside. The guys that can slide the bike really good are really going to shine here.
It'll be interesting to see now as things pretty well spread out, except for Pichon trying to get away from Kyle Lewis. Will be the final transfer spot. Can Larry Brooks, number 36, catch up? He's trailing now by about 8 bike lengths to knock off that number 5 position. Here's 4. Steve Lamson coming through the whoops, way out in front of Mikel Pichon.
As you can see in that shot, Lamson went by and was almost through with the whoops, and Larry Ward, who was right behind him in the opening lap, is all the way back in the corner. So Larry Ward way off the pace here in the semi.
Final lap, the white flag lap. And it looks pretty well defined as 5 more riders will advance to the main event here tonight from the Murph in San Diego. Here's our leader, Steve Lamson.
And it looks to me like as he makes this corner, he'll look over his shoulder and see that Pichon, number 12, has really closed the gap. You can see Pichon just kind of flash by. There he is in the corner behind Lamson, and Lamson with a heel clicker.
A heel clicker from Lamson. Pichon in second place, number 12.
Pichon did a little cross up of his own there. You can just see the tail end of it. And as they start in that whoop section one more time, you'll see Pichon coming to your screen. I don't think he's really trying to do anything with Lamson here, but that's...
Waiting for it to go sideways. 5 to 10 seconds left when it goes sideways. 48,202 fans here at the Murph in San Diego. Will they break the string with Jeremy McGrath as he tries for his 5th consecutive win at the start of the season? All right, get set now. It's gone halfway. They're revving it high. They're off, and McGrath with a great start. Larry Ward to the outside, number 6. Number 9 is Mike Brown. And Craig is in 4th as he got boxed out there at the beginning at the second turn. Yeah, but Jeremy McGrath is right where he wants to be.
Exactly. This isn't what we wanted to see. Jeremy's got an open track. He can take any line he wants, and that's not good for the other guys.
You can already see right there behind him in that corner, all 3 of those guys blocked each other out. Already opened up a huge lead for Jeremy McGrath. He's got about 3 seconds now.
So we might as well just go back to the battle for second place because that's where the fight is. Michael Craig, though, is going into the whoops. He wants to pick up that gap. Larry Ward's behind him. Mike Brown, Jeff Hemming, and Phil Lawrence cuts to the inside in that group.
And you heard Mike Craig after the heat race. He wanted to be up there and run with Jeremy. Now he's got his opportunity right there in second place.
But if you'll notice, Jeremy already has a couple unique lines that no one else has taken. This section after it's the tight hairpin, he's jumping over the whole tabletop and making up a second right there.
Damon Huffman, who rode so well last week, still having to come from behind. I think that's the whole story. Last week he was able to run with Jeremy and move through the pack, but Jeremy's already gone.
Huffman in 7th position now as we take a look at number 2, Michael Craig. Number 17 on the bike, but second in this race.
If you look right there, he's looking back. He has to think about who's behind him and not about going forward, and that's going to hurt him when he's trying to catch Jeremy McGrath.
Jeremy doing all the jumps out of the turn as he whips through the whoop section right now with a substantial lead with only 3 laps gone.
Whoa, and Larry Ward, who I think had a better run in that whoop section using his long legs, he and Craig tangled through there. So all 3 of these Honda Troy riders really slowing each other down. That's letting McGrath just pull away even more.
Super Mac now is 4-second lead.
Emig, who also rode fantastic in his race, the first guy to beat Jeremy McGrath in a long time, and definitely this year, right there behind all these riders. If he can ever get around them all, I don't think he'll have enough time to catch McGrath.
Now would be a great time to take a look at Jeremy McGrath and see actually what he's doing to the track as we look at a log jam here at 2nd place.
Yeah, all these riders, they're thinking about each other. Emig, see if you look, Larry Ward's looking at Emig. Emig's trying to block him. So they're just taking time away from each other, and they're not catching up to Jeremy.
I always knew when I was out front, Rick was going to come at me. He was going to come at me. He always did. He always focused on the riders in front of him. I didn't ever see Rick looking back at me when I was challenging, and that was the difference. And I knew that when I was out front, he was going to be focusing ahead. He always made me nervous. No one's making Jeremy nervous. He has nothing to worry about out front. Look at him. He's jumping all the way into that step section and all the way out. The only guy that can do it. He learned from Emig in the heat race.
Huffman went down, so he's way back. You're losing several positions now from that 5th spot that we announced earlier. Here's Jeremy McGrath out in front. Let's take a good look now at this smooth style Rick Johnson.
If you're watching what Jeremy...
Whoops, I'm sorry. We're going to hit the replay right now.
That's what I talked about earlier. Larry Ward using those long legs. He was coming up the inside of Craig. Craig got out of control. Actually went into Larry Ward there, and they both slowed up a lot and give another big lead to McGrath.
Okay, now to get the section on the track, it's the triple right before the finish line jump, Rick Johnson. And here we go back to 2nd place. Michael Craig and Brown, they're going at it.
See, look, they're stopping in almost every turn just to try to take away the momentum of another rider. See, they're looking in, they're thinking about slowing the other rider down instead of just going forward and chasing down Jeremy. When Dave and I raced with each other, as much as possible, I tried not to slow myself down to keep him from passing me. I tried to run and hide from him. Many times it didn't work. I got tired. He passed me like our big battle at Anaheim. But
at least you could hold on to 2nd.
Exactly. Get way out ahead of everybody and just race as fast as you can. But if you look, a lot of people are just racing for 2nd now.
Michael Craig in 2nd place, and he's looking for the best finish of the season. He's had a 6th, a 4th, a 6th, and a 9th in his last race at Seattle as he goes through the whoops. Here's Emig behind him, number 2. Number 9 is Brown. Number 6 is Larry Ward. And Ezra Lusk is on the move, number 34 behind him.
And I like the way Emig's running down that inside. He's not going to let anybody get inside of him, but the bad part to that is he doesn't leave him much margin for error. If he gets a little out of control through there, he's off the track.
And also, if you watch what Jeremy's doing, he's opening up the turns. He's taking his time. But you watch Emig, he's running down the insides and squaring off the turns, so it's killing his momentum coming off. And with this hard, slick track, you got to keep your speed in the corners up.
We're taking a look at Ezra Lusk, number 34, the bike to the left of the Suzuki, the yellow bike. You know, he came off a 4th place finish in Seattle, but has done a magnificent job now of staying upright.
Yeah, you know, with these tracks and these young riders, everybody's shooting for Jeremy. He's the lone star out there that everybody wants to beat. Everyone he's the benchmark. When you get guys like Ezra that are great young riders, there's not a mix of riders that they can race with and grow with. Right now, everybody's trying to beat Jeremy.
Jeremy McGrath with a 9-second lead over the 2nd place bike of Michael Craig as he comes over the finish line. Bradshaw is way back in 12.
That was a nice move by Ezra. He's worked his way up from pretty far behind. You see he controlled the inside of that corner after the finish line jump. Got through there pretty quick on that hard slick stuff. He seems to be the fastest guy in this battle for 2nd place right now. He's got the speed to catch Craig.
Rick, you had 4 wins here in San Diego, and there you see Mikel Pichon trying to restart his bike after stalling it, but you had 4 wins here in San Diego. Was it the hometown situation, or was it the style of track as far as the texture?
It was a little bit of everything. You know, growing up in Southern California, you ride on hard-packed tracks all the time, and as you can see, all those shiny spots, that's slick dirt. You got to have a lot of throttle control. So my practice track was very similar to this kind of dirt. But when it came to the hometown advantage, I ate at the restaurants I wanted to eat at. I slept in my own bed. I had friends and family. I had all the pressure and motivation to win because I wanted to be the best guy in San Diego.
Hughes has moved into 6th place behind Ezra Lusk. So we have Supermac out in front, Craig 2nd, Emig 3rd, Brown 4th, Lusk 5th, and Hughes in 6th. Number 1, Jeremy McGrath.
Now you look at it as a battle for 2nd place. Emig is starting to put some pressure on Craig now. Emig finding his rhythm. These were the 2 fastest guys. They each won their heat races. Brian Hughes coming down the inside of that whoop section. If he can get close enough, I keep saying this. I know I sound like a broken record, but that's one of the best places on this racetrack to pass. And Hughes is faster there all day. Through practice, he was smoking through the whoop.
Well, and this track is very technical, which all Supercross tracks are nowadays. But when you jump up on when everybody jumps a double, it's hard to make up time. So when these guys are floating in the air, it's hard to make up time. But when you get a long section like those whoop-de-doos, where you got to hammer, hang on, strength, and try to keep your drive going, that's where the passing is going to be, like right here.
Watch Ryan up the inside.
He's making a charge on Michael Craig. Can he get him into the corner? Yes, he can. Craig tries to cut underneath, but Ryan Hughes has the advantage as they go over the triple and head for the finish line jump. It is Ryan Hughes moving into 3rd place. This could be a great podium run for Ryan Hughes.
That was a pretty good guess. I should play lotto tonight.
You called it. If he can hold there.
But if you look at Mike Craig, a little fire's out of him. Something happened. I don't know maybe if he was holding his breath at the beginning of the race thinking he's going to catch Jeremy, or if he cased a double or a triple, you don't know. But something doesn't look right with Mike Craig. He doesn't have the same fire and motivation and determination that he had in the qualifier.
Did you see the wide eyes of Wyatt Seals, Hughes' mechanic?
Well, he's looking at the fact that there you see Emig coming into our screen. Watch how close Hughes is right there. He's got the momentum. He's fast to the whoops too, but Emig is going down the inside, so Hughes is going to have to find somewhere else to pass his teammate. He might have to get aggressive.
Behind Hughes and Craig, LaRocco and Huffman has moved into 6th place.
A lot of times you get a lot of motivation. It seems kind of backwards, but when teammates will get motivated to beat the other team because they want to be the #1 Kawasaki guy, the #1 Honda guy, or #1 Yamaha guy. So you might see a big rival between Emig and Hughes because Hughes is coming up.
And right there, McGrath just jumped that whole triple before the triple, turned a jump that no one else could do into a triple. He's making time everywhere.
He's got a pace going that's comfortable. He's in control of it, so he's not going to push anything when it comes to passing lappers. He's just going to take it easy.
He now has a 9-second lead on the 2nd place bike, which is Emig. We're working right now at quite a comeback. After Damon Huffman went down, he is on the move.
Looks like, the best I can tell, he's in 6th place right now. What a good ride. And there you can look at Craig, and I agree with you, Rick. He doesn't have that fire anymore. It looks like he's just trying to settle for a 4th place finish.
We go down now to Davey Combs.
All right, I'm standing here with Brian Lunas. This is Damon Huffman's mechanic. What kind of signals are you giving him at this point in the race?
Well, he's just trying to figure out who's the next guy in line because he was so far back off the start. So we're just working his way up to LaRocco.
All right, back to work.
You can tell he was anxious to get back on that pit board, Brian Lunas.
One thing very impressive about Damon Huffman, if you watch him, he's doing the same jumps in the same rhythm as Jeremy. So he fell down and he's way back, but he is being innovative and he's trying the things that Jeremy is doing. So, you know, he's there. He just needs to get the start, and then maybe they can come out and fight together.
Jeremy holding a consistent 8-second lead as we take a look at the champion.
Just as you pointed out, Rick, coming in out of the corner before the triple, Huffman is also the only guy other than McGrath to jump that big triple. One thing that Huffman is doing a lot faster than McGrath is through the whoop section. Perhaps McGrath knows that takes a lot out of people. With that big of a lead, he's not taking any chances.
Let's go to Davey.
I'm down here with Skip Norfolk. Skip, how important was it to Jeremy to reestablish his dominance tonight?
Well, it's real important. You know, we were changing some things. We were a little slow in practice, trying to make up for it. Ended up making him uncomfortable. I mean, this guy's amazing. We go back to what he knows, what he's comfortable with, and he's ripping off laps like this. It's, you know, my hat's off to him. The guy's incredible. We had his head all screwed up earlier, and he put it back on and is out there hammering on him.
Well, it was the first heat that Jeremy McGrath did not win on the season, Rick.
Yeah, and they went head-to-head. It was a good race. So I think that that was something that people need to look at. Not just Jeff Emig, but every other rider. Hey, he's been beat. They both started 1-2. Emig passed him, and then it went back and forth, and he ended up winning the race. So they need to know he can be beat.
On his way to his 5th consecutive victory to start a season to tie his record along with Rick Johnson's record. And all eyes will be turned toward Atlanta as we look at the final lap by Jeremy McGrath.
Let's see if he can still do that section right here. This is that triple I was talking about. Yeah, the last lap. Okay, I'm going to tell you, that is a ballsy section through there. I can't believe he could do it.
It's completely blind, and he jumps right over the top of it like it's not even there. So he's just showing his dominance.
Jeremy McGrath, and here's your second place rider, Jeff Emig. It'll be his finest finish of the season. Back to our leader, Jeremy McGrath, as we follow him on the last lap. Over the triple. Only a few feet to go as he takes a look at the checkers for his 5th consecutive victory. He won in Orlando. He won in Minneapolis. He won in Anaheim. He won in Seattle, and now takes number 5 here in San Diego. Jeff Emig in second place. We'll be back with